Hey guys, today we're going to be going over how to assign a button in MainStage to sustain your pad. This would be great in a scenario, for example, where you're splitting up two sounds. For example, you have the pad on the left side of your keyboard and the piano on your right, and you want to go ahead and just press 1 and 5, sustain that throughout the whole song, but play the rest of the song on your piano. I know a lot of you guys have asked me about this, so I decided that this would definitely be helpful for all of us, and we can just share this. So let's get started. Basically, here I have just the MainStage window open with just a basic setup where there's a piano sound on the right and just an Airways pad on the left, just stock MainStage sounds. Anyways, the first thing you're going to want to do is to create a button first. And as I remember, we kind of went over, you have your layout, edit, and perform modes. So we're going to go into layout, and that's where we have all of our little knobs, buttons. So I'm going to go ahead and just drag a button over here. You can resize it to whatever you want, but basically I'm just going to leave it as is. So first things first, you have to assign the hardware to the parameter. So basically you just click assign and just click any button on your MIDI controller. Here I have an Axiom, you could see right now we detected it. And basically click it. As you see over here, sometimes it's going to switch from the kind of type of assignment it is. Basically, just click it once you see that it responds to your MIDI controller. Click assign again. That means you've kind of assigned it. And if it's not already on alternating value, over here you have a few choices. Just set it to alternating value. That just basically tells it that there's going to be a few parameters like 127 and 0 as you see over here. Anyways, once that's assigned, you're good to go. Now go back into edit mode. In edit mode, you see we have now it lights up, it responds to my hardware, but now it doesn't. Over here it says unmapped, so it doesn't know what to do. So no matter what I do, if I press it, it doesn't do anything. So we got to assign it to sustain. The way we do that, we go ahead and just click that button, and over here it opens this window on the bottom, and you see these are your different channel strips: classic, piano, and Airways, which is a pad. In this case, we want to sustain the pad, so you click on this Airways, click on the button, click on Airways, click on MIDI controller, and here's a bunch of CC messages. So the standard CC message for sustain is 64, so right here you see 64 sustain. Bam. Now press the pad, press the button. I'm not holding the keyboard, it's sustained. Great. Now the one problem you'll face once you do that, if I press the sustain pedal, it takes that sustain off. The reason for that is because we haven't assigned the sustain pedal itself. Now MainStage will automatically know that because this is a sustain pedal, I guess, parameter, it'll just kind of respond to your sustain pedal. Now the only problem is that it works on a kind of global level where it takes care of all the sustain, all the patches. In this case, we only want to sustain the piano. So in order to do that, we just got to tell it, hey, you only work to sustain the piano and not the pad. So when we click, just the way we clicked on this button, you click on the sustain pedal. Now we click on classic piano because that's what we want to respond to the actual like sustain pedal that we have. MIDI controller in the same way, sustain 64. What that means is that this sustain pedal will only affect the classic electric piano that you have or whatever you have up there and not any other ones. So now if you see, if I play the piano, it's affected by the sustain. If I play the pad and press sustain, it doesn't sustain because it's only assigned to sustain the piano. And the button, now if I press the button, it sustains the pad, doesn't sustain the piano, but once I press the actual sustain pedal, it sustains the piano. So now you basically split up that the button will only sustain the pad and the sustain pedal will only sustain the piano. This is so useful in times when you don't have to switch any pads. You just want to just create a little vibe atmosphere so you're holding it and you have a whole keyboard. I mean, you could assign it to 1 octave, 2 octaves, whatever you need, and have the rest of the keyboard just for piano sounds. This is something we use just all the time on weekends. If you're using one keyboard, this is super useful for student ministries and whatnot. So basically, here's a little rundown. If you guys have any questions, text me, email me, give me some feedback on this video if anything wasn't clear. But that's that. So hope this helps you guys. Alrighty.